Bonjour, this is a video I'm making for the staff of Caulfield Junior College on le 14 juillet, Bastille Day. Its historical background, its significance, and a little bit about how we celebrate it nowadays. The French Revolution is a major event which played a crucial role in making France what it is today. It's also influenced the rest of the world in more ways than one. There were three categories of people in France: the clergy, working for the Catholic Church; nobles, who weren't allowed to work and inherited their titles from birth; and the third estate, which meant everyone else, that is to say, 98% of the people, most of them peasants, i.e. rural workers, and some of them merchants and artisans. So here is the context. For decades, the French state had been spending and losing a lot of money. Wars, especially against England, financial support for the American War of Independence, and really disastrous harvests due to very cold winters and poor weather for years resulted in heavy debts. King Louis XVI tried to see if he could tax the clergy and the nobles. This did not happen. On the 29th of June, 1789, representatives of the Third Estate gathered in a jeu de paume center. Incidentally, jeu de paume means paume game and is the ancestor of tennis. So this is the actual place where they met. This is what it looks like from the inside. And this is jeu de paume. It was played with your hand, a ball and a net on a court, very much like tennis. And players would say Tenez, which translates to take or here you go when serving. So for all the tennis fans out there, Mr. Is. And as we celebrate Ash Barty's victory in Wimbledon, well, tennis is very much a French thing. But back on the 29th of June, 1789, when representatives of the Third Estate created a National Assembly, with the ambition of writing a new French constitution, promoting more liberty and more equality. Parisians knew they had to organize and get ready to stand up to the power in place, nobles and the clergy sending troops against them, attempting to squash the very idea of reforms. This is why they stormed their local depot of weapons and ammunition, the Bastille Armory and Fortress. They also freed political prisoners and seized weapons needed to defend their cause. This is the day which was chosen, about 100 years later, to commemorate the French Republic. Other important dates include the abolition des privilèges, or abolition of feudalism, on the 4th of August 1789. It meant the abolition of feudal rights, the suppression of personal servitude, and the end to the privileges of the nobility, in effect, a far more egalitarian society. Then on the 26th of August 1789, French revolutionaries wrote the Declaration of Man and of the Citizen, which directly inspired our current Declaration of Human Rights. Now, when we hear about the French Revolution, we always hear about how the king was guillotined. So here's a little background on this as well. On the night of June the 20th, 1791, Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, and their children fled the Tuileries Palace, where they had been held captive, to try to make it to Austria in order to gather support from Marie Antoinette's country of birth and literally invade France. They were arrested in the east of France in a town called Varennes. The anecdote is that someone recognized the king from seeing his face, and in particular his nose, on the coin. I must admit, I'm not 100% sure how authentic this story is. But as a consequence, for what was seen as an act of treason, Louis XVI was sentenced to death. Now, the death penalty was absolutely normal in this era, and the guillotine was actually a way for it to be more efficient and less painful. The French Revolution was a significant event. It put an end to the French monarchy, feudalism, and took political power from the Catholic Church. It brought new ideas to Europe, including liberty and freedom for the commoner, as well as the abolishment of slavery and the rights of women. Now, there's of course so much more I could have told you about the French Revolution, like how the revolutionary created a brand new calendar with new names for each month. And you're always welcome to come and see me for a chat if this is of interest to you. The 14th of July was selected as France's national day about a century later. Nowadays, people celebrate with a traditional fireworks display, dances, and in Paris, there's a massive and colorful military parade.